We are going to look at how to prepare data for our regression analysis. So most of the times we understand what is regression, but when we try to do in MATLAB, it becomes a lot of trouble for us. So we'll look at what are the troubles that we can face while we run a regression analysis. Now, some of the trouble that we face while we run the regression analysis is about data importing, and I've been talking that you don't need to memorize the formulas or the commands. You need to just understand the type of problems and why they come up while we do some things. So if you look at MATLAB and how it's going to play with things, you have MATLAB in a matrix format, the grid lines same as Excel. So you have to place the values in those grid lines, and different variables could be, or different metrics could be seen as different sheets of Excel where we have them. Suppose you want to learn a time series analysis, or you want to run a regression analysis. So the first problem that you get is to import the data from CSV. We talked about this into our data import video, but I'm going to quickly go through. When you import CSV, sometimes CSV has a string which creates trouble while you read it in MATLAB, and that's the reason you have to read it as a string and then break down on a fixed width idea. It's same as deciding the width of the entry and not using it as comma separated. We looked around at some alternative of VLOOKUPs and this problem earlier. So we decided that we are going to use XLS read to read some of the things. So while using the XLS read, it's better than the delimiter read or the CSV read because it gives you more advanced options. So we converted some of the things into Excel format and read them. So if CSV does not work, we opened the CSV, converted it into Excel, and that imported it. That helped us to get the data types because XLS file or Excel would already give the data types, and we would not have that problem that some of the numbers are coming in as strings. So importing data and importing text and converting them to one another is one trouble that we face while we do with CSV. So we decided to use XLS read. We imported data num text row using the XLS read, and now we are good. Some of the problems that comes is that there might be empty cells in Excel when you import them in the MATLAB. Those empty cells might give you trouble because those are like empty cell matrix in a way. So those you should get out of those cells or those trouble by using the cell function. It would just remove things and give you, and then if you want to convert the things into number, then you'll use the date num format. So MATLAB has a date format, and like Excel, it's stored at backend in a numeric format, so you have to do that. The indexing that we talked about in class 2 and class 3, we can pick out the rows and the columns that we need. Once we are done, we can use the financial time series to get this data into a financial time series object. We can do that by finds command. So finds command would help us to bring all the data. Now there is a trouble here sometimes. Sometimes the data is into cell format because when you bring it from Excel, those are cell. We'll look what cell arrays are, but if you remember cell arrays, it's like an array made up of an array. So a cell which is in fact in itself an array, and we cannot perform plus on that because like if it's a cell array, it's an array of an array, you cannot do that. So we'll use cell to matrix, the command written on the second last line here, and we would do that. So if regression does not work, we are facing trouble. What could be the problem? A problem is that some of the inputs are not numeric, so we'll use is numeric format. Another problem is that the argument type is of cell, so we'll use the cell to matrix, and once everything is done, we can use to get the slope. So these are the troubles that we can face.